Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, where we've been playing pretty well. The runs have been good, but we've also... Oh, this is where it gets dicey. The runs have been good, except for the last run, which was just okay, but it's not like that's a big deal. Jeff Patterson of the province, Vancouver Canucks sports writer, 7B7H, I don't know what the heck that stands for. Judas is always a scary value proposition, though. It's like the only time you ever want to see an HP upgrade in your first item room. Let's see if we can get lucky. It's not an HP upgrade. In fact, two questions. Oh my god. 45 seconds into the episode, we get a freaking Skype message. This one is, there's no conspiracy to be had here. My boy Austin just woke up and said, yes, that's fine, to our conversation of when we're going to play Players Unknown Battlegrounds tonight. What a strange coincidence, though. I can't fault anybody for waking up late. I'm still riding this high of, like, coming back from Eastern Standard Time, so I'm waking up at, like, 8 a.m. Vancouver time. Oh, 8 a.m. Vancouver time must be nice. I wake up at 4:01 a.m. every single day. I get it, okay? We all wake up at different times. Have you ever heard me be like, oh, it was a hard day. I only got 8 hours of sleep last night. I'm aware. I'm in a lucky position where I can make my own hours. This is not an affluenza sort of thing. I mean, I haven't paid my dues to the extent that the average person who works like a 9-to-5 job has, but, you know, I've done that. I worked as a mover for a little while, literally one day. That day I had to get up at 5 a.m. That was a rough one. And then, you know, office jobs that go 8:30 to 4:30, you know, you gotta wake up at like 6:45, hop in the shower, and then walk to work. Rest assured, I've done my time. And I was never late. I pride myself on being an extremely punctual individual. And it's just, I mean, it might seem comical given the fact that the NLSS is sometimes a little late, but that's due to the nature of human cooperation, where, you know, if one person has to do something, and I'm not saying it's my co-hosts that are causing the problems. It's the nature of cooperation, that cooperation usually makes things that are mundane take longer. You know, if you gotta do something by yourself, if it's like, hey, just show up to the bar around 8, I'll be there at 7:59:59. If it's, can you pick up my friend and then show up to the bar around 8? It's like, okay, build it in. 8:20 at best. Because they're gonna, you get there at 7:52 and they're like, oh, there's no street parking around. And then you try to find, you know, some street parking. By the time you finally park, you go in and they're like, oh, I haven't taken a shower yet. Is it okay if I take a shower and then we stop at the drive-thru before we go? I wouldn't want to go there on an empty stomach. And it just like goes on and on. Please give me a key so I can survive. Let's freaking go. Look at that. I was gonna say, something's not right here. So this gives us Book of Revelations, which first off gives us Bookworm right off the bat, because we started with Book of Belial. But then, more importantly, it also gives us a Spirit Heart, so we actually have a temporary, enhanced chance of survival. So, obviously, we're still in the market for more Spirit Hearts if possible, and this is a good opportunity to have that come to fruition, and indeed that is what happened. So, this is actually like a really, really good turn of events on this floor, and I've earned this one. Maybe I'm worth it. I'm not trying to say, oh, we need a bomb for that. I'm not trying to say that it's been the hardest run of all time, but we had no HP on the first floor and we fought Ragman. That's hard enough to be like, you know, a little nervous about the situation, I think. So I'm going to go to the shop. A bomb is a great purchase. There is no bomb. I will buy another Spirit Heart and hope that a bomb shows up, because a bomb is a great purchase here. We had very little to worry about in the interim period, though. We also know what boss we're going to be fighting. That was a nasty hit there. Might have been from a champion, actually. No, it was from a fire, so we should be okay. But a bomb is going to give us a golden bomb, and then hopefully Spirit Hearts. Wouldn't turn up my nose at Small Rock, though. A golden bomb now allows us to go nuts on this donation machine. We don't want pause. Shoot the Whoop's alright, but Guppy's head is the same or better, and the same goes for the straw. Rubber Cement is just okay. Little Brim was like the perfect get there. Rubber Cement has some fans, no doubt about it, but at least from like a trying to ensure our survival standpoint, I think you got to give some respect to to little Brim here, which is going to help us out a lot, especially at range, which is very important for us right now. Dude, did you have to, though? Like, it's a little... Okay, sure. But you know what? We did get one bomb out of it, which is not valuable immediately, but could be valuable in the near future. So now that we got bombs and a couple of keys, do we care about getting those? I think I'm going to spend 1 key to get Book of Secrets and hopefully find secret rooms. Which we didn't, but we also didn't really need to do that because we have unlimited bombs, but kind of hedging our bets that maybe we'll eventually be able to create a library out of this situation. I don't know. We're probably going to blow this up because the odds of us getting more HP are pretty low. Hilarious. No, but it's like the honest to goodness truth. You know, we're going to give away some HP for a deal with the devil, so it's pretty unlikely that we're going to love what we have right now. We're ever going to do better than what we have right now for HP is what I mean to suggest. Okay, even though I said the exact opposite. I know, it's confusing sometimes. It's confusing for me too. The number one confusing thing right now, though, is that I have no idea how much HP I have. But it must be 2.5 non-red hearts and then 1 red heart, I think is the way that it's shaping up right now. And the red heart is full. So we know we're going to get an orbital here and be pretty happy about it. We could stomach a Krampus fight, but I would much rather just get like Abaddon, 9 lives, Mark, Pact, you know, something that, Empty Vessel, anything that gives us HP while also allowing us to kind of snowball a little bit. Dark Bomb probably fits the bill. But it doesn't give us any damage, so there's a problem there. But, you know, otherwise, relatively good situation. I was way off. We had 4.5 special hearts. So we got not too much to worry about. Okay, good, you know? Now that we're out of that, we can start talking about stuff that's not related to Isaac. It took me a little while to get there, but... You know, Edmund has a new game coming out on July the 12th. This sounds like it's a sponsored video, but really, it's just exciting. I think I talked about this in an earlier Isaac episode, but, you know, if you put yourself in Ed's shoes, I mean, people are going to play the world's tiniest violin, because obviously Isaac has been a massive success, and, you know, especially when Isaac came out, the original Isaac, in 2011, indie games were still in this kind of, like, darling period, where it was like, oh my god, this is going to change the way the industry works forever, and then a lot of people quit their jobs to form their own independent studios, and there have been some massive successes that have come out of that. But then there's also, we've kind of seen like a pullback on that recently. Like, obviously there are some games that are independent and successful, but I think a lot of those experiments have kind of proven to be unsustainable, and we're kind of moving back away from that era to some extent. So I'm just saying this to illustrate that, you know, it is a privilege to be able to work on a game and have it not only provide you with, you know, steady employment for the course of like several years, which is a rarity in the industry in these day and age, or in this day and age as an indie developer, I think. But then also, of course, to have it, you know, be so successful is really sweet. Analog stick is fine. However, at the same time, you know, he didn't need it, you know. Super Meat Boy did really well. He kind of thought, let's do I'm not going to speak for him necessarily, but the way I understand it is, you know, he kind of thought, oh, I got this cool little, like, roguelite idea that riffs on the original Legend of Zelda a little bit. I'll just work on that for, like, 6 months, put it out. And then here we are 5 or 6 years later, and finally he's free. You know, he's worked on some other stuff in the meantime, but Isaac has definitely, from my perspective, at least been the major thing. So it's cool for him that he gets to release something else now, and he's, you know, he's got Bumbo and Super Meat Boy Forever and stuff like that are coming up on the horizon, but we're living in very much like a post-active Isaac update community, except for the fact that there's new booster packs and stuff like that coming out. I'm excited to play it. It looks a lot like Super Meat Boy, and I think the thing people forget is that, yeah, I mean, Edmund, in terms of, like, his visual style is very distinctive, but I think, like, every game he made, or designed, I should say, before The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth was, or The Binding of Isaac in general, is a platformer. Like, Gish was a platformer, physics-based, and Time, you know, 4-letter word, H-E double hockey sticks, except with an F, was a puzzle platformer. I guess Aether wasn't really. It was kind of, I mean, you sort of platformed. But anyway, I'm excited to see another Edmund McMillen platformer, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Technically, I guess Fingered was nothing like that either. But I kind of got the impression that Fingered was more like, okay, my last, like, Game Jam project spun out of control. Now I'm just going to make another one that, like, might do okay, but is definitely not going to be, like, 12 years of development. Which neither was Isaac, but anyway. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited for a lot. I'm excited about video games. As weird as that might sound, I normally am not cynical, but I'm immune to, like, the hype machine to some extent. Like, whenever we have an E3, I'm always the guy who is like, well, you know, it's a pre-rendered demo, and everyone goes, just let me be excited, and they got a point, but I also have a point, in that you're being sold to, you shills. But anyway, the point is, I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to play more stuff on the Switch. Splatoon 2 comes out in, like, 2 weeks as well. I never picked up ARMS. I tried twice. I was never super motivated to do so, but I was at the drugstore twice, and they have, like, a terrible electronics section, but they still do sell games. And both times I was there, I was like, if they have ARMS, I'm just gonna buy it. It'll be like an impulse purchase that's slightly premeditated. It's like a second-degree game purchase. But neither time they had it. They had a poster that said ARMS, but they never had ARMS, nor did they have any games on Switch, despite having a lot of Switch games on the poster. But I don't know what's up with that. Either way, you know, it saved me 60 bucks, and I heard the game was, like, decent. But I feel like I'm ready for Splatoon 2. I'm ready to lose online to, like, you know, Japanese 10-year-olds in a way that is very emasculating, very embarrassing for me, but teaches me something about the pursuit of happiness. I don't know, there was no easy way tidy way to wrap that up, you know what I mean? I never played Splatoon 1, but I watched Kate play a little bit of it. I mean, mostly it exists, and that's why I want it. You ever have that? There's a lot of logical reasons to not want something. Happened to me all the time. I used to get, like, I had a subscription to Nintendo Power when I was a kid. Because I didn't understand, you know, objective journalism. We gotta try for... I didn't care about objective journalism, I guess, as well back then. Let's get car battery here is gonna be very nice. But anyway, and like a game would come out, and you'd be like, that looks cool. And then in the review, they'd be like, this is like a 6. And you'd be like, okay, but I still want it. I can't explain it. I talked to my friends. One of my friends was a very rational game purchaser. He was like, you shouldn't get that. It's only got, like, on game rankings, it's only got an 81. Why not get this? It's got, like, an 84. And I was like, I can't explain it. For some reason, I just feel like I need to get NFL Quarterback Club 98 instead of... well, I'm trying to think of a sports game from that era that was actually good. The early days of 3D were not necessarily a great era for sports video games. But anyway, that didn't stop me from having a lot of them. No, I can't do this. You see, this is the worst deal in the history of deals. I don't know about this run, dude. I'm starting to get downright inquisitive. Because we're low on a couple of stats that are pretty important. Damage for one. HP, oh yeah, good use of Onsus. That's a 10 out of 10. Well, I just got back from my 3-hour time zone difference 2 days ago, so you guys, I'm still feeling the jet lag pretty bad. I don't know if I'm going to be good at Isaac again for another 6 weeks or so. You know what they say is 1 week for every half hour of time difference. Probably not true. Jet lag is a real thing though, but I'm not, I got roasted so hard last time for coming back and talking about jet lag. People were like, every video you talk about jet lag. Well, for a while, it was a dominating characteristic of my life, you know? When you come back from Japan, it's a 10-hour time difference. People were like, jet lag's not that bad. First off, if you're under the age of, like, probably if you're under the age of 40 and you're otherwise healthy, you don't get to talk about other people's, you know, bodily functions. Oh, lupus isn't really that bad, you know? You say that, I know some of you out there watching is like 16 years old, you have a diet consists of cheeseburgers and Doritos, and then you still got a six-pack somehow. And you're gonna try to tell me you're like the average person. You know, I've lived that. It's less than 10 years ago I lived that, or was able to live that lifestyle to some extent, at least. And people would be like, oh, I got a headache today. I get migraines. Oh, migraines? You know, there's people in parts of the world getting limbs blown off due to mortar fire, but I guess I'll have sympathy because of your migraine. You know, like, how dare they try to say that they got something going on in their life that's, you know... Yeah, I got my own problems, okay? The Montreal Canadiens just traded Yaroslav Halak instead of Carey Price. What a stupid decision. Carey Price is never going to be an elite goaltender in the NHL, and Yaroslav Halak just backstopped us to a surprise win over the Washington Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins in the 2002 NHL playoffs. How stupid could you be? So yeah, we all got problems, okay? Look, stop walking on the spikes. Thank you very much. But, you know, jet lag's real. I'm actually not jet lagged much, and that makes sense because I was only away for 3 hours. But I will say, the first few times I flew, like, decent distances, I was under the impression that jet lag, not that it didn't exist necessarily, but that, people always made it to be, like, a big deal. Then I got a little older, and I was like, what's that general feeling of malaise and nausea I have when returning from a place whose time zone is different than my own? Just a subtle... little, like, 10 p.m. nausea I'm getting right now. Because my brain is like, it's 2 a.m., and when you were in the Eastern time zone, you were going to bed at, like, 10 p.m. So you're staying up way too late, but it's still bright outside. It's a little confusing. It doesn't stay bright till 11 here, but it does, when people come to Vancouver, they go, it stays bright out real late. I recognize it's the summertime. I'm just saying, even relative to... other parts of the world I've been to. It's at least a tier delayed lower here, but it stays bright out like crazy here, dude. It's like, I was cat sitting for my friend, as I mentioned, you know, maybe I mentioned in the apology video. I was cat sitting for my friend, and I was like, I really want to get over to his place before it gets dark. I don't know if cats process things on this level, but he's been away, like the owner's been away for a couple of days. Maybe he thinks like if the sun sets, he's never going to come back or something. I don't know. It's a very sweet thing to think about at least. So I was like, I'm going to get over there before it gets dark. I started driving over there like 9:25 p.m. Still dusk. It was a luxury that cannot always be afforded, I suppose. Have we gone to the curse room? I gotta check. We have not gone to the curse room. Even though it turned out badly, at least it wasn't a duplicate check here. Yo, where's the item room, though? I'm starting to get real nervous, dude. We've been up. This is Necro 1, yeah. Have we... I don't have a Curse of the Maze thing going on here as well, do I? I didn't take a question mark pill. I remember this. Surely we've done this room. Did I just not take what was in the item room because it was an active item? I know the shop was Dad's key. This is why this is my least favorite curse. Curse of the Blind, I think I've checked this 10 times, yeah. Curse of the Blind I accept. Because it leads to you picking up items that you wouldn't otherwise pick up, and that's sort of cool. Curse of the Lost is just annoying. Spend your whole time being like, did I go to this room? Did I go to this room? And yeah, sure, does it carry a penalty? Yeah, it actually does. It makes it less likely I'll get to, fight a boss I hate slightly later on, or less likely that I'll get my choice of 4 items slightly later on. So, you know, I just think it's a bad curse. I'm just gonna level with you. It's an annoying curse, which is one of the reasons I think that it's bad. But it's annoying in a way that I find very unproductive. By the way, stoked to get the Halo. Even though it's not a huge upgrade, it's an upgrade in basically every category except tiers right now, so certainly not against it. And we might still be able to do Boss Rush regardless, so I actually think that we have Boss Rush, you get 2 charges per wave in Boss Rush now, and we've got car battery. So every wave of Boss Rush is 12 flies. which is 24 times 5.51 damage. So you're looking at like, you know, 130 something damage per play. Enough to kill both of the bosses in the wave? Probably not. If we use our strength card though, we crank that number up a little bit. You will never get this. He got it. But enough to make a dent, to maybe make it worth picking up one item that's... It would have to be well above average. It couldn't just be like, oh, this is a half-decent item, let's go for it. But we do have Little Brim as well, which is quite nice. Let's see what else we can get here. Empress, better or worse than Strength. Still to this day, these are equivalent in my eyes. And take Duality. Actually fairly likely to make something happen with Duality. The reason the Strength card is better is because of the HP get. So let's try that. Kind of a bit of a lark there to try to get Magic Mush or Mini Mush, but that's okay. I'm glad these runs are sort of becoming more average. And this really is an average kind of setup right now. Even though we got Little Brim and Dark Bum, our stats are not out of control. Particularly HP has never let us like rest on our laurels. So you ever have that happen where like... I've definitely had that happen recently, where I've taken some classes where the marking has been like a little easier. Like I take some classes that are meant for students. I'm a part-time student basically, but I take some classes that are meant for full-time students, but at night. So these are like real classes. And then I take some classes that are meant for part-time students, and usually the level of marking is like way harder in the ones that are meant for full-time students. So taking a few semesters of stuff that was like all part-time classes, and I was like, I'm the best person that's ever learned this ever. But the questions on, you know, the tests that you get are like, you know, what does OOP stand for? And you're like, okay, OPP, how can I explain this? I'll take it frame by frame. This O is for object, the other O is for oriented programming. The other P, well, that's not that simple. You get the idea. See, it's a reference to Naughty by Nature. That's Naughty by Nature, yeah. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know. Let's roll Diplopia. It's a double Diplopia. I don't even know if this works. We will not make Boss Rush. Don't sweat it. It would be nice to have a teleport card, but we're not going to make Boss Rush. At least try to go to the shop. You do something good with Diplopia here. And then you take the course that's... you know, meant for the full-time students who spend like 8 hours a day, well, optimistically, learning this stuff, and then they're like, okay, so what happens if you downcast a null pointer to be a pointer of a static casted void type? And you go, prints out the reference address of the object stored at that memory. No, you idiot! It prints out a compiler error because you got a runtime stack overflow, you idiot. And you go, oh, of course, that's what it does. My mistake. Okay, so, I mean, doubling restock and the shovel does almost nothing. Well, it gives us a free restock and then a free shovel, which we would borderline have to take because we'd be getting rid of Diplopia. It's almost worth giving it a shot, I think, because it does give you a good incentive to go to the Hush fight. Oh, that's the great gravy right there. You guys didn't learn about the great gravy in Sunday school? Sunday school? So I'm being an idiot here, but I'm willing to chance it. Come on, dog. The thing is, yeah, we gotta do it now. So the reason I say that is because we can now buy Spirit Hearts from the shop. Did you eat that? We can buy a lot of Spirit Hearts from the shop, hopefully, is the idea. Wow, this actually worked. It was a weird use of Diplopia, and the shovel is, like, definitely not as good as Guppy's head is, but that's okay, because now we can just leave and go back and get Guppy's head. Now, was any of this worth it? Not to an overarching degree, I would suggest, no, but I'd say it didn't necessarily turn out too badly, because we also still get another item here. We don't care at all about BOGO Bombs or Unicorn Horn. Oh, my Atlanta. Okay, so we'll take Crooked Penny now, and it just keeps getting weirder because we have Car Battery Swallowed Penny, which is actually Crooked Penny. So things are going to be mighty strange. But let's, you know, pick up some Spirit Hearts. What do we got here? Strength. Then, one of them worked and one of them didn't. So as far as I'm concerned, why wouldn't we take Mom's Knife right now? It's not like our tiers are really anything to speak of. And then we still have an item back here. Because, oh, we do, but it doesn't really do anything for us unless this gives us another Guppy transformation, which I don't believe that it does. Okay, so let's at this point move on. It's been very strange. But not just not bad, it was actually incredibly good. Empress, right? Okay. Fool, Hermit. Okay. I don't know. Why not, dude? A free restock when we already have one. Sure. What was the point of that? Well, it did give us another set of consumables dropped, but that's not worth too much, I suppose. Wow, we found our boss room right away. So this might be a Hush-worthy run, just by virtue of the kind of weirdness we've gotten ourselves into here. Anyway, the tangent that I was going on was, yeah, I'm happy to have some slightly more average runs here. Obviously, we're going to try to, you know, go for broke. Just for weirdness' sake. But I'm happy to have some slightly more average runs, because I was starting to think that I was too good at the game. Which obviously, like, let's not be ridiculous. Instead, I'm being put back in my place a little bit, which is important, you know? I think the highest mark you should be allowed to give is a B+. No, you know, I'll tell you what, in special circumstances, you can give out an A-. Because, you know, when you're an adult and you get an A+, you're proud. When you're a kid and you get an A+, it just sets an expectation. You know, an expectation that, you know, I'm an A+ sort of boy or girl now. I think that the highest mark you should be able to get is an A-, because that, you know, it's really the mark that says, hey, you did well, but you could do better. And that might sound draconian, and it is extremely, but it sends the message that you should always keep pushing, you know? Struggle is a uniquely, well, it's not a uniquely human virtue, but, you know, it's a human virtue to be like, you might say, well, you should just relax sometimes. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. You should, you know, everything in moderation, including moderation, right? But at the same time, can you rest on your laurels because you got, you know, all A+ in 4th grade? Nah, dog. All A+ in 4th grade is like all A- in 5th grade is like, now you're getting C+ by 6th grade, you know. You always gotta keep pushing. You gotta get used to the push. Wow. Thank you for the range upgrade. You're too kind. Wow, really? I'm a little perturbed. But I will fight Hush for reasons. I don't know. Because I got the time, basically. You're too kind. Curse of the... You're too blind. Okay. Well, you should have used 2 of spades earlier, probably, but... So, first things first, I'll eat your brains, then I'll start rocking gold teeth and fangs, because that's what a mother effing monster do. Young Money on the verse, we the monster crew. There's a lot of words in that song. Not all of them are safe for work. Unless you work at a swear factory. So we got Bum Friend. And boom. Ready or not, here come the boys from the south. I don't know about you guys, but I gotta say, Here Comes the Boom, probably one of the top 5 movies Kevin Smith has ever made. I mean, obviously you got the Blart verse. And then I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, nice little indie film. Good message in that is that love conquers all, and don't be afraid to pretend that you're a different sexual orientation to not get prosecuted for tax evasion. Something like I've never seen it. Let's be honest. I don't know if I count the Grown Ups extended universe in the canon because I've never seen those. I have seen Here Comes the Boom though. Okay, don't mind this one. Ironic, isn't it? Here comes the boom. You see. Speedball. We gotta be getting close to Spun. Check it and see. I got a fever of 103. Come on, baby, don't you do more than dance. Screw, not bad, not bad. Another Spirit Heart, I think. And then we might as well, I'm gonna go bottom. That's pretty bad. And top. Wow, it's a lot of bomb-related items I could not care less about. Alrighty then. Obviously, I don't actually believe that you should only give out A-minuses. I'm just saying, you know. Here's a question I want a real answer to, because it's one of those things I think people have wondered about. I'm not saying like great minds have wondered about it, but I think it's one of those things people wonder, but they don't have the means to get an answer. And I'm hoping that maybe someone here works in college admissions at the registrar's office. By the way, change that word. It's registrar. What are we, a freaking space alien society? Where did this word come from? S-T-R-A-R, registrar. Maybe that's a Canadian thing. Anyway, point is, do universities and colleges look at the high school that you went to and apply a factor based on what the expected ease of marking is at that high school? Because here's what I'm getting at least in Canada, and at least in science, I can't speak to anything broader than that, but your first year of science, at least my first year of science at my university, which was at the time ranked well within Canada, was basically, all right, so we don't know where everybody's come from. We're gonna rehash like calculus and linear algebra, biology, chemistry, physics, and get everybody to roughly the same level. And then second, third, and fourth year got more intermediate and, I mean, advanced on a bachelor's level, but you get the idea. So effectively, it didn't really matter if you had super foundational knowledge coming in as long as you had the marks to back it up. So isn't there like an extreme incentive, especially if you're a private school? Am I unraveling the whole system accidentally? It's not my intention, but isn't there an extreme incentive to give a child, you know, or let's say a teenager. I'm not trying to say that, you know, 17-year-olds are children, but you get the idea. A higher mark than they deserve, thus giving them a better chance of getting into, you know, a university that's more prestigious, and thus raising the pedigree of the school and giving the school a better chance to secure, you know, more parents that want to send their kids there. And I guess, you know what, in a way, I think I've inadvertently answered my own question, because in the US you also have SATs and stuff like that, which are not taken, standardized tests are not taken really to get into Canadian universities. So I'm not saying it's a perfect solution, but I understand the value of standardized testing, because I'm going to be honest, I think I went to a school that was kind of easy. I have a lot of self-confidence about my own intelligence, and I think I have a very frank view of my own intelligence. I don't think I'm particularly book smart necessarily, but I think I do have a wit. So I'm not saying like my whole identity is caught up in the fact that I was on the honor roll in high school or something like that. But I do think that my high school, when I hear other people talk about their high school experience, I'm like, ours was like, if you like showed up and did like 3/4 of the homework, you're gonna get an A, unless you really royally mess something. If you hand in like everything and you study for the exam, you're probably gonna get an A. So I always wondered if, like, you know, I applied for school and it was like, you know, matriculating from, you know, middle of nowhere high school. It's Northernlion with these marks, and then you got like, oh, this guy went to the Albert Einstein, you know, school for the gifted in downtown Toronto, but his marks are slightly lower. You know, I mean, I get it, you look at everything when it's a well-rounded application with an essay and stuff like that, but still, I always wondered if they could, like, apply a factor. Because it's not like, you know, when your high school is advertising to parents, they're going to be like, you know, hey, 6 of our graduating class from last year went to Ivy League schools. They're not going to be like, 4 years ago, all the people who went to Ivy League schools were proven to be woefully underprepared because they got overinflated marks in high school. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt now, but I'm just interested. It's one of those things I'm interested to know. The sausage making, if you will. I'll just take this. I don't want to double it because we're about to go down to the chest. By the way, we'll get a lot further as an internet community here if you only answer if you know. Because I know that there's a temptation. I'm gonna teach you the most valuable lesson that I know from a social standpoint, and I mean this sincerely. As an adult, it's super okay to not know everything. As a child, your teacher asks you questions. There's no such thing as rhetorical questions until you hit like 11th grade, right? I mean, this is not okay. I mean, I don't really want to double any of these anyway. And I certainly don't want to take Plan C, but what I mean to suggest is just that, you know, we have this conversation a lot on, or conversations like this a lot on the NLSS. We asked the question the other day, is the Dalai Lama allowed to masturbate? And people were like, oh, well, why wouldn't he be? It's just a human thing. And you're like, no, you don't understand. There's rules. I'm not saying he doesn't break the rules. What I'm saying is I don't know Mr. Lama personally. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But is he supposed to, I guess? I mean, then it's another question. Is anybody supposed to? I guess why not? But, see, like, we're getting sidetracked here. What I want is not like, I heard. What I want is, I work at the registrar's office, and this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Kind of struck out with a lot of these Crooked Penny plays here. Anyway, I think I've gotten my point across well enough. We already have Bookworm. We got so many books. So many books and bombs. This is a books and bombs run, dude. Terrible name for a cafe. Just god-awful name for a cafe. Even if you're like, well, what if the bombs were Jaeger bombs? That's so much worse. I don't want to go to a combination bookstore / frat house. I'm 28 years old. I can't do a Jaeger bomb. I don't wear tight shirts, okay? More power to you if you got the gains. I'm not a Jaeger bomb sort of guy. I'm a, do you have anything that comes in a more hoppy variety than this sort of guy? Kind of guy who wears hoodies in the summer, you know, for comfort and convenience. Sun's out, guns out? No. Sun's out. Probably shouldn't say sun's out, hoods up, because it's kind of you can take that definitely the wrong way. But sun's out, zippers down. No, also pretty bad. In the summertime, when your zipper is down, not in that way, in the hoodie context, in the summertime, overdressing has a different turn of phrase. In the summertime, I'll be taking 10 showers every day. I don't understand temperature. I mean, this is where I come face to face with the knowledge of my own intelligence, but, I don't understand temperature, because, like, I'm always too hot, so what I do is I turn up, we have air conditioning, thankfully. Life's pretty good. So I turn up the AC to the point where I feel comfortable wearing a sweatshirt. And then I put a sweatshirt on. My wife is, like, teeth chattering. And she's like, why is the temperature so low? And I'm like, oh, just put a sweater on. She's like, it's July. She's very right, but I don't know. I just feel comfortable that way. But it's also the same way where, like, even if I'm super hot, you know, I get it. It's like the FPS, ha ha ha. But even if I'm, like, overheating, I have to sleep with the blanket on. It's just more comfortable. She's like, you know, you're starting to sweat. Why don't you just take the blanket off? I'm like, it's not that easy. Some kind of evolutionary thing. I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm sorry, Void. It was a fun run nonetheless. That bid had also run its course. Hey, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. And I will see you next time.